was the title, and the other was angels, believe it or not, have been flying around lately, a lot lately. And the other one is this little Unity booklet, The Golden Key. Now, this is the original version, but there was a new one that came out, and now they're not making them anymore. But I found the remake, the ones I got for you, Picola. Yeah, I tried to order some more of those, and they're out, and they don't know if they're going to reprint them. But anyway, this is the original, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But let's start with the small m mind. The small m mind is the starting point of every act and thought and feeling, the common meeting ground of God and man. And when we talk about the small m mind, we're talking about our own individual minds that are within our brains, which in our head, and not the big M mind. The big M mind, by the term mind, we mean God, the universal principle, which includes all principles. So when we say big M mind, we're talking about a capital M at the beginning, and that is God. When we talk about small m mind, that we're talking about our own individual minds. And Fillmore uses this throughout his writings, so to know this is important. But it's also important for us to know that we control our conscious and subconscious minds through our small m minds, and we are always receiving information from our big M minds. And it's almost like a fine line between the two, if you will, but the thing is, the line really actually is not there. I mean, we can always be expressing from God mind, from the big M mind, if we allow ourselves to do that. But with our free will and choice, we get to choose which one we're going to listen to, which one we're going to be guided by. Now, since we've talked about minds a little bit, I want to talk about matter. And I found this neat point or definition of matter from Hawaii, believe it or not, .edu. So it's their education website. And I thought it's kind of cool because, we were praying for Hawaii and then that popped up. It was like, okay. But matter is anything that takes up space and can be weighed. In other words, matter has volume and mass. There are many different substances or types of matter in the universe. Now, you might remember that from science days. You might not at all. But our minds can see and form matter, right? However, some people think that our thoughts are not matter, that our thoughts are just thoughts, like they don't really exist. But I found this other cool article by Dr. Ralph Lewis, and it was titled, What Actually is a Thought and How is Information Physical? So his conclusion to the article was these past paragraphs that I'm going to share with you. He said, in summary, information is physical and relational, and we are networks of information. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
He said, thoughts are not ethereal. They are representations of matter and are encoded in matter. They have shape and weight. And he goes on to say, abstract ideas are analogically built from more concrete sensory representations. The sense of self is built from self-representations. Thoughts are forms of information, and all information is physical and relational. It feels like I love this sentence the best to explain this whole thing, but it feels like something to have a thought and to be a self, because we are that information, recursively reflecting on itself in an infinite regress. Meaning whatever we're thinking, whatever we're doing, just keeps happening again and again. Makes sense? Yes? No? Maybe? So he's saying that, because we feel it, because we know it, because we've got this information coming in, it's forming matter. Whatever our thoughts are, it's coming out and forming in front of us. Got it?
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means that thoughts are matter, which to me makes a whole lot more sense. Because if we can see that, then we know we can change that. If our thoughts are bringing forth whatever's happening in our lives, then we know we can change those thoughts in order to change what is happening in our lives, because we are the ones forming the matter. It's almost as if you took a clunk of clay and started shaping it, and you didn't like what it looked like, so you just started shaping it into something else. And that's what we can do. If you don't like what's happening in your life, we get to change it. We have the ability to do that. Why do we allow ourselves to stay in that constant loop of negative thought and feelings when we know this is not who we are spiritually and when we strive for a higher, deeper level of self? Why do we do this? Why do we continue? It's almost like we just want to beat ourselves up or be abusive to ourselves, huh?
Yeah, why?
Yeah, we do, because we haven't moved beyond that. So, but scientifically, we know that our thoughts can change that. Every week we come in here and we say to ourselves that these statements of truth. And, you know, when we say these statements of truth, we have to be able to accept these statements of truth. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. All of us can say our thoughts matter. All of us can know that we can heal ourselves. All of us can know all these things. But if we don't accept it, it falls flat. We say these truths every week. I am a child of God. I am deserving of good in my life. I am accepting my good now. But are we doing that? Are we accepting our good now? Are we staying open in the flow of all those thoughts and shaping that matter to accept and form good in our lives? I don't think we always do that. You know, we can claim it with ease, especially that first statement. I am a child of God. Yeah, we all know. We're all children of God. This is what we strive to go out into the world and believe of other people too, that they are children of God too, no matter what they are doing or what's going on in their life. The second one is a little bit harder to accept. I am deserving of good in my life, because it depends on our embedded cultural norms that we were raised with. If we were told that we weren't good, or that we couldn't do something, or oh God, don't sing because you sound horrible, or all of these negative things, that's what we tend to bring forth. So we think we don't deserve to be able to sing out loud in church, or we don't think we deserve that good thing to happen, or we don't think we deserve a good relationship, or good friends, or family, or anything. Those thoughts can hold us back, and the idea of deserving it is all what's embedded in our subconscious and conscious mind, controlled by our little m mind, that has to be changed in order to say, yes, I will accept this good because I know I deserve this good.
That's right.
Yeah. Amen. and so what happens is we get hung up in that place, then we can't accept the good. We just stay stuck in that muck, and we know that we have to move beyond that. And how do we do this? We tap into the big M mind. We allow God to come in and through us and to work this out and push it out of that subconscious and conscious minds. We don't need to know any of that negative stuff. And we will survive better in life if we do push it out, if we don't let it take us down that path, if we don't wear it like it's weights pulling us down into the ocean. We have to, then all of a sudden we can accept the good. Accept means to believe or come to recognize an opinion, explanation, etc. as valid or correct. So when I say you are all beautiful children of God, you can believe the children of God part, but are you believing the beautiful children of God?
Yes.
Because you all are.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't matter. If we come from that place, we see that place. I watch these reels on TV, on the phone, from Candidly Kind is her business. She's 26 years old, and having a sister with Down syndrome, I love watching her because she reminds me a lot of my sister. But she sells T-shirts and stuff, and they're always positive, and she does her own artwork and stuff. And now they're having her be a model for now I can't think. A couple of different makeup companies. I think it's through Sephora. I'm not sure. But anyway, she also goes around and speaks to groups and stuff. And she says, I'm an entrepreneur, an artist.
I saw that.
Yeah, and she's beautiful. And it's so cool because she doesn't, her mom and her do these little chats in the car, and they went into a store, and this lady was looking at her and staring at her, and the mom was kind of getting mad because the woman was like, because I could see, her name was Grace too, so I could just see Grace in the store being, she's a little flamboyant and stuff, and I could see this person was staring at the mom like, what, can't you control her or whatever, And so the mom kind of made hints like she was getting upset, but she said to Grace, she said, what do you think happened in the store? And she said, oh, that lady was looking at me. And she said, well, why do you think she was looking at you? And she said, because I'm beautiful and she's beautiful, and we were just admiring each other.
Yay.
She didn't see anything negative. And I thought that, and she just spewed that out, and her mom just laughed just like you did. And I said, that's where we need to be.
Yes.
We need to be at that place where
Yes.
no matter what anybody says or does, we can say, you're beautiful, I'm beautiful, and this is a beautiful life, kind of thing. We accept it. We make it valid. We make it correct. We believe enough to be able to be in that place. Well, if we cannot recognize or believe our own goodness or godness, then I got a little thing, a quote from you, Chopra.com for you, which I think is really profound. What is the spiritual meaning of accept? Acceptance is the ability to allow people, circumstances, and situations to be as they are. It is a conscious choice to not resist the experiences of your life, but rather to permit them to be as they are and flow with what is happening. Now, this is huge, people, because listen, to be as they are. She saw it as that gal was beautiful. I was beautiful. She was just admiring us rather than seeing her as looking at her like she's got Down syndrome and different or whatever. But this is an important part here too. To not resist the experiences of your life. Whatever has happened in our life is an experience. And we just let it be. I mean, we don't have to carry it around. We don't have to take it with us. We don't have to pack it up and, collect it like we're collecting trash. No. We just let it be and allow it to just be an experience. Call it an experience. Don't let it be anything other than an experience. And then say, that's not how I'm going to live, or whatever you need to do. Or if you enjoyed yourself, put that up there on the shelf like a trophy and say, hey, this was a great time that I always want to remember. That's all you have to do. And to allow it to be as they are and flow with what is happening. I'll tell you what, I get to practice this. You start writing this stuff and then it shows up in your life. And I have been practicing this a lot this week, and it's all good. But it is difficult to do. It's very difficult to do because, we look around us and family members are doing stuff that we don't like. Or, they say something we don't like or whatever. And then we look at TV. We don't like some things on TV. We start going, oh my gosh, and going down that negative road. And let's not even talk about the political scene because that could get a whole lot of people riled up real quick in negativity, and we're not going to go there. We see people with piercings or tattoos or clothes that we don't like. Or one of the things that has popped up for me this week is seeing a certain person I know wearing outfits that are exposing themselves almost and posting it all over Facebook. And I think to myself, why are you doing that? But then I said, no, I got to go back to let them be as they are. Right. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't have anything to do with me. Exactly. I can just let it be something that is happening and move forward.
Move on.
And let's snooze that person for a while till they kind of get it back together again, whatever. Because the only person it's going to hurt is who? Us. Yeah, we're the only ones hurting from it. I mean, especially Facebook. We can all get so riled up about Facebook, and nobody in the universe knows that you are getting all riled up about Facebook. I mean, it's like, or Instagram or any of those. It's like an oxymoron. Who are you talking to? You're talking to yourself. You're exposing yourself to these things. You're having that conversation with yourself, and why do you want to have that kind of conversation? When you can tap into the goodness of God all the time, that capital M mind, I go like this because it's a good visual for you, but let that be your source. Let that be where you're getting your information from. So we have to learn to see these situations and not fall into that idea of judgment. And this is where the angels come into play, that I kept seeing angels and stuff, and then I found this. You might have thought I was talking, actually this is me, I was talking about spirit angels, the kind that you can feel, and that's like your mom showing up or your whoever that we find in our journey in life. But I'm referring to the angels Fillmore calls ideas, because metaphysically, angels are thoughts. Now, if we connect those two together, though, it can be really powerful. So, like if you're feeling like you're somebody who has gone on to the oneness of God, has made their transition, is showing up in your life, then you can think of that as being, maybe they're bringing you an idea. Maybe they're bringing you some clarity in your thoughts. Maybe it's not just a thing saying, hey, I'm here, but maybe it's a symbol for you to explore what they're trying to reveal to you. And that's what a lot of mediums do. You know, they give somebody a little bit of information to reveal something. They don't really like say, here, your mom wants you to hold this prayer box while we're in church. No, but they say, prayers, was there anything about prayers with you? You know, they kind of lead somebody to their own understanding of what the message is supposed to be. And that's what we have to do. We have to be able to keep our thoughts open and receptive, because if we're feeling like angels are showing up, then those are thoughts that we are supposed to be synthesizing and bringing forth. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And angels always bring good news and always are signs of protection in the Bible. So that was another way Fillmore got this idea of angels being thoughts. But they're always there to change our direction or change our thinking or show us something new. We just sometimes go, oh yeah, I felt like my mom was with me. Well, what was the message? What was there more? And maybe that's when you have to stop and tap into, you know, capital M mind and realize God is sending me this message to bring forth. But one of my favorite books, of course, Fillmore books, is Adam Smashing Power of Mind, and Fillmore wrote this. In Isaiah 65:17, we read, behold, I create new heavens, ideals, and a new earth, manifestation, and the former things shall not be remembered nor come into mind. Now, the idea is that if you're bringing something forth into manifestation, then you no longer have to think about the idea. You're manifesting the good right here now, and you're accepting it and receiving it. But he goes on with, we may have the perception and we may see the angels, those ideas, but we have not passed judgment. We do not judge until we begin to deny and affirm. And by judgment, he actually means, if you look up judgment in the Revealing Word, he actually means spiritual understanding. Judgment or spiritual understanding commences the moment you accept the truth of your divine sonship. So we can say we are a child of God, and we can say that I am deserving, but we have to accept that whole concept that God is here right now to be that divine expression on this earth. We say we're spiritual beings, but are we living like spiritual beings? Are we claiming that divine, he calls it sonship, or spirituality in our own life every single day? That's what changes everything. To me, the synthesis of this whole passage is to prepare ourselves to accept that divine self. To say, hey, yeah, I am a spiritual being first, and I'm going to bring that forth in everything that I do. And we deny, because he brings up the idea of deny and affirm, we deny any power that we're giving to anything less than that. So any of those negative thoughts, any of that stuff that we let interfere in our everyday living, we have to deny it, and we have to be willing to affirm. I am a child of God. I am deserving of good in my life. I am accepting my good now. And we practice every Sunday, but we have to be practicing more in order to change that error thinking. In Matthew 25:34, it says, then the king will say to those on his right, come, you who are blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. Now, you might think this is talking about, you know, whatever. It's not talking about the political, right? It's not talking about King of Kings, like we're all kings. No. This is what it means. Who is the king? The center of consciousness. The I am. The I am has power to just the extent you have the courage to assert your power. So we all have that power of the I am. And the only way that I am expresses is if we give it the power. If we deny the power that we're giving to other people, other things, other thoughts that aren't good for us, and we affirm that and have the courage to assert our powers as the I am. You know, it's like when we do I am statements. Don't you feel powerful when you do your I am statements? Absolutely. Yeah, but if we're saying those I am statements and we have something in our subconscious or conscious mind that is really the opposite of that I am statement, you can do that all day long and it's not going to change anything. We have to first deny the power we're giving to whatever it is that is taking away that power. And then when we say the I am statement, I'll tell you what, it's like giving yourself a boost of vitamin C or something. I mean, or B or whatever it is that gives you energy. I always forget. Anyway, and that's what it's talking about. But it does take that acceptance. It takes the idea that you have to accept that you have this power. Do you know you have power?
Yes.
I know each and every one of you do. So as soon as we do that, then we can move forward. We must all step forth and assert, all authority hath been given unto me in heaven and on earth. If the central spark is like the divine, then we all have power. Sorry, that's Fillmore's writing, and I was going to switch, God bless you. I was going to switch that because I wanted to make sure, Okay. So the kings on this earth are us. And our thoughts are the truth, or what you want to call angels. Because truth shows up because that's our angel thoughts, everything that's good. Whatever we conceive, we can receive. Acceptance is one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves. I love this little clip thing. I was just going for somebody handing the gift, and then it started moving on me. I said, oh, that's even better. Yeah, because we are accepting that gift. We are saying yes to that gift. So this is where the golden key comes in, the little booklet. And I got one for each of you, and Maria's going to pass those out at the offertory time. I also have a little golden key for you too, that I want you to put somewhere. You can put it on your keychain, you can put it in your car, you can put it wherever you're going to see it, or carry it with you in your pocket or whatever. But that golden key is to remind you of what the golden key is. And I think the visuals are always really good for me. But he wrote, Emmett Fox actually wrote this booklet in 1944, I believe it is, yeah. And he gave it to Unity. He was friends with Charles Fillmore, and he gave, because he was actually a divine science guy, and he gave it to Unity to print and gave him the rights to print it forever. And it's been, I don't know how many copies, probably, I don't even know, millions or billions or whatever. But anyway, it's an easy read, really it is, and it's a quick read, and you'll love it, and you'll read it over and over again. I've seen people that have had copies that they are all tattered and torn, that they've had forever, that they read over and over. Anyway, the bottom line to this spiritual practice is to stop thinking about whatever is causing you stress or strive and to think only about God. We are not here to solve the problem. We are not here to change the person. We are not here to fix any situation. We aren't. We aren't. We've got to tell ourselves that. We don't have to figure it out. No matter what it is, we don't have to figure it out. But we are here to allow God to work in and through us and in every situation, knowing that God's got this. No matter what's happening, God's got this. Hello, think about how much less stress you could have in your life if you just keep doing that every single day. And I know some people might say, well, what about my health problems? Or what about my finances? Or what about the fact that, I'm not happy, or my kids are driving me crazy. God's got this. You don't have to have it. God's got this. The main purpose is to give it all to God and only think about God, nothing else. And, we use that key as a reminder to keep us on that track. In the past, I've shared this prayer with you, and when I say it all the time, and I always say it before I go to bed, but I realized when I said it right before writing this talk that I was stumbling on a line in this prayer. And here's the prayer, and I want us all to say it together. So let's say it together first. Thank you, God, for answered prayer. I now accept this or something better for the good of all concerned. This good now comes to me completely, perfectly, and in peace. Thank you, God. So the line that I noticed that was a stumbling block for me, and maybe you've already figured it out, but is I now accept this. Did you want to take a picture? Huh?
Thank you, yes.
Okay, I'll go back for a second. I now accept this is the line that was stumbling, because I can always say for the higher, because the other part of that is, right there, anaxipus or something better. I could always see the something better. But the acceptance maybe isn't always there. And we do have to pay attention to what we're praying and what we're saying, because if we're not really grasping every word we say, then don't say it. What the heck is the reason to say it? We don't need to say it, because if we're not grasping it and we're not allowing it to work, then it's not going to do us any good. But I now accept this, and I know that I wasn't always accepting every situation. Can't you agree? I mean, we all stumble through this every day, accepting what is. No, we don't always do that. Am I receiving, and was I always receiving the gift, the compliment, just the idea of accolades from other people? No, you have to be willing to just really be open and receptive and take that in, because that is what helps our self-esteem. That is what helps us feel more spiritual, if we can truly take it. I'm going to flip it to that other page for a minute. So and the other thing is, are we always focused in this now moment? Because it's so easy to drift off, like I've said before. Do the shopping list, start drifting off into something else. You're talking to someone. I do this sometimes because I know maybe my brain's a little ADHD. I don't know, but no, I'm not going to claim that. No, but you know, I have thoughts going 90 to nothing sometimes, and I'll be in a conversation with somebody, and I'm not truly tuning in and listening to the whole conversation. And it's so important for us to take that time and accept whatever it is that is in that now moment. And we have to be able to do that. And so we get this opportunity to spiritually grow all the time and to focus all the time. And we have to start using it to focus on God, to focus on those opportunities. And so if you're wondering if you can golden key somebody else, because, you know, we always praying for other people. We're always seeing other people. I love that Emmett Fox tells us this. In order to golden key a troublesome person or a difficult situation, which is like our finances or whatever, our weight, whatever the thing is, think, now I am going to golden key John or Mary or that threatened danger. Then proceed to drive all thought of John, Mary, or the danger out of your mind, replacing it with the thought of God. This is where the challenge happens for us, because what do? Oh, I'm going to give it to God. But did I tell you what happened yesterday? Don't we? Yeah, we do it. We do it every single time. We want to give it up. We want to release it. But then we always go back to it. And it's like, I shouldn't say this, but that's what popped in my head. It's like eating your own vomit, really, you know? I mean, it's like you spew this stuff out and you want to release it, and then you're taking it back in again. Why? Don't do that. Just replace it with God. I'm going to say, God, this is yours. God, it's yours. I know you got this. And don't you believe God's got that? Yep. Don't you think God has our highest good in store for us? Absolutely. And we don't have, it doesn't have to be the way we want it to be. All we have to do is allow it to be the way God wants it to be. Myrtle Fillmore gave us this wisdom that goes right along with it. The best way to help your brother is to pray for him to be spiritually illumined. Pray for him to be spiritually illumined. Then if he has come to a place in his soul development where he is ready to accept truth, he will have the understanding and desire to seek the indwelling Christ. This is huge, people. This is really huge. Because this isn't just about your brother. It's about your sister, your kids, your parents, your loved one, your spouse. Sorry. No. Look at him looming. Anyway, it's about that. We have to be willing to let go and let them get their own understanding and desire to seek that indwelling Christ. We can't force it upon anybody else. You know, I know somebody at some point in time told you to come to Unity. And if you're like me, I mean, it took me 10 years to get to Unity. I had somebody bugging me for 10 years to come to Unity. I'm not kidding you. 10 years. I did her hair forever, and she was my beauty school client that followed me forever. And she kept saying, you'll love my church, you'll love my church. Okay, I don't want to go to church, but I appreciate it. She says, well, you're so spiritual, you'll love it. You know, finally I did, and I did love it. And I was there every Sunday after that. But, you know, it's up to me to find my indwelling Christ, to find the direction. And when I did, I was on fire. You know, and it's a good thing. Here's the rest of it. It is never wise to try to force truth upon anyone.
That's the truth.
Place your brother lovingly in the hands of the Father and know that his own indwelling Lord will take care of him until he is open and receptive to ideas of truth. We all have truth within us. We all know the truth within us. And we have to allow them to find their own truth and bring it forth, whatever that looks like. And nobody, you can't get the clay out and shape it and make them say, oh yeah, they're going to be spiritual beings now. No, we have to just let everybody and everyone and everything in our lives go on its own. Let them be who they are. And we can all golden key it all the time. We can sit there and tell ourselves, you know what, God's got that. God's got that person. It doesn't matter what they do, the God's got it. Yeah. But we do have to be willing to accept truth, and it is not ours to force it upon anybody. We know the ideas or angels that help us, guide us, and come forth in our minds will also come forth for all of them and for every situation. I've made that prayer before. I've said somebody that I know, like in my family, I know my mom and dad have both passed. I say, you know, help that person see something more in themselves. You know, send your angel love to them. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, but we also have to go then, okay, that's it. God's got this now. It's not mine anymore, right? Right. We can't fix it in every situation or every person. It is inevitable and absolute truth because through the golden key, we have mind over matter. Thank you for being here today. God bless you.